Welcome back. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the advanced level in this course. Finally, huh? It's been a long way. We started with the very basics, going on to some common intermediate usage, and yes, it's high time we started with something different. What the structure of this level will be? Well, here we'll take a look at almost everything we have passed so far, but from a different perspective. Here you will see the interconnection between the different grammar elements. Here you will see how everything is used in context. You will do a lot of more exercises, and at the same time you will learn new things. Ready to get started? So am I. The first lecture is discourse markers, or linkers, in other words. Linkers are something that help you express yourselves in not only advanced but clear way. They really let your mind be spoken widely. So it's important. It's important to know examples for such linkers and to see them in context. It's important to practice them after that as well. Well, this is what we are going to do within this video. First, groups of linkers, then examples, after that, exercises. Let's get started. The first group of linkers we are going to talk about describe a result. Examples. As a result, so, therefore, consequently, thus. Seeing those words, yes, I know, your initial reaction would be, I know them. Of course, you do know them, you're in the advanced level. The idea is to start using them, because knowing them and using them in context or using them while you're speaking are two completely different things. Examples to see them in context. The main road will be closed and delays are expected as a result. You can start the sentence with as a result of as well. Another example. Someone had stolen the evidence. Thus, it was impossible for the police to continue their investigation. Why it's important to be aware of that many linkers? Because when you speak, your aim is to avoid a repetition. Not only when you are preparing for an exam and you are training this or that exam section. No, in general, when you speak and within your speech you start repeating one and the same structures, well, it's not quite lovely for the other person to be listening to what you're saying. Because of that, remember the linkers and put them in sentences. Context is important. Another example. They increased the number of staff and consequently the service is better. The new trainers are lighter and softer and therefore more comfortable to wear. You see that these linkers are interchangeable. The only thing you need to remember so far is that thus is more formal. As a result can be used in this way at the end of the sentence. If you want to say as a result of what, you need the preposition after that. As a result of. Next group. Linkers that express reason. Because of, due to, owing to. Since. Usually you go for because. Time to time to because of. Well, time to include the others in your way of talking as well. Examples. The workforce was reduced partly due to the board's pressure. Due to, more formal. Owing to bad weather, the flight was cancelled owing to. I will not be able to attend the meeting since we are to be on holiday. Since. Due to, owing to, since. Alternatives of because. Contrast. However, nevertheless, nonetheless, although, even though, in spite of, and despite. The last three, if you have any doubts about the differences, check the last lecture from the previous level. Let's take a look at the others in context. The new king was an obscure figure, but nevertheless interesting decision maker. Nevertheless. Prices have been rising. It's unlikely, however, that this increase will continue. Don't forget that however is surrounded by commas, always. So, comma, however, comma. Purpose. In order to, so as not to. In case that. Usually you go for in order to, and that's it. Well, there are others. So as to, so as not to, in case that, so that. Context. Take an umbrella in case it rains. In case something happens. I was trying to calm down so as not to offend him. That's good usage. So as not to. And probably time to see what you've remembered. If you still have any doubts, please pause the video, learn everything, and after that, let's do the exercise together. Our seats were a long way from the theater stage. We enjoyed the play, in spite. This kind of exercises and sentences you're going to meet quite often, as again you're in the advanced level. These are called transformations. They are a typical exam format in FCE, in CE, or CP if you once reached there. This is one of the main exercises. What is tested here? You're given a word. It's one word, just here, there, too, because of the sake of the lecture. So you're given one word, and your aim is to transform grammatically and meaningfully the first sentence with the word provided. So you need to keep the meaning of the sentence as a result, and at the same time to include the word given. You'll get better aware of what I'm speaking about when we reach that kind of exercise. Well, so far, let's focus on linkers. We enjoyed the play in spite of the fact that our seats were a long way from the theater stage. In spite of the fact that it took us ages to get there. The traffic was heavy. Because of. It took us ages to get there because of the heavy traffic. Because of. I took the price off the bag. I didn't want she to know how much it had cost. I took the price off the bag so that she not to see how much it had cost. So that she not to see. Keep the receipt for the sweater. Your dad might not like it. Keep the receipt for the sweater in case that your dad doesn't like it. In case that. Susanna is an only child. She isn't at all spoiled. Susanna isn't spoiled at all, even though she is an only child. Even though she. Prices have risen because production costs have increased. Due to. Prices have risen due to the increase of the production costs. So you see here, it's not only the linkers that are tested, it's the whole grammar structure. You need to be careful what part of speech each of these discourse markers is followed by. You need to be careful how to structure and what else is needed for the linker to be taken advantage of. I hope you found it useful. See you in the next video. Don't worry, I'm not going to repeat everything that you do already know. Welcome back. The structure of this lecture is a little bit more different, and these kinds of lectures will be typical for the advanced level. Why? Again, the idea here is to summarize and to give you a broader perspective of everything that you have already learned. What I mean, open the PDF and do the exercises. And after that, we are going to discuss each of the sentences. Have. Have can be used in various structures, in various contexts. It can be an auxiliary. It can be a meaningful verb. There is difference between have and have got. So in order to practice everything and to help you revise and summarize, let's do it after you're done. Good. I moved to the USA in 2016 and do still live here. I have been living in the USA since 2016, something which started in the past and is to continue after in the moment of speaking. Present perfect continuous. Transformations again, you noticed? Just here, in each transformation, you need to use either have or have got in the correct form. He's an only child. He doesn't have any brothers or sisters. We used to pay a woman to come home and clean every week. We used to have our home cleaned every week. Used to, something that was typical for the past and is not typical for the present anymore. After that, we used to pay a woman. It means that somebody else, whose job is to clean, used to come. In these cases, you need a structure which means make a professional favor. Yes, have something done. And in context, we used to, infinitive, have something, our home, done. Third form of clean. We used to have our home cleaned every week. Let's go on. Having a driving license is obligatory for all drivers. All drivers have to have a driving license. Have to, modal verb, and it expresses obligation. Obligation because of a factor that's outside of you. It's a rule, it's a law. The opposite of have to? Mustn't. Exactly. Not don't have to, mustn't. I last visited the city in 2000. I haven't visited the city since 2000. Since a moment in the past, something hasn't happened. Experience, present perfect. Since and for. Since is used with a moment. For is used with a period. She lacks the certificate to prove her skills. She lacks. It's important to know the vocabulary as well. She doesn't have the certificate to prove her skills. She doesn't have. It's not necessary for you to get up that early on Sunday morning. It's not necessary if you won't do it. The modal verb that you need, don't have to. You don't have to get up that early on a Sunday morning. The meaning again, something which is not necessary to be done. but you are not deprived of the possibility to do it. If you want, do it. I need someone to repair the roof. The same structure. I need to have the roof repaired. Which was the synonym of this one? Get, exactly. I need to get the roof repaired. It was a great coincidence that the taxi was there. I took it and came on time. If the taxi hadn't been there, I wouldn't have been able to come on time. Conditional. Which one? Third conditional, exactly. The first and the second part of the conditional refer to the past. So, if, past perfect, future in the past, was have. Would have was third form of the verb. Last two. I'm sure you weren't ill yesterday. I saw you eating ice cream in the center. I'm sure you weren't. So you speak about 100% certainty in the past. Perfect modal verb. Can't have, third form of the verb. You can't have been ill yesterday. I saw you eating ice cream. And the last one. Is it obligatory to wear a uniform at work? Do I have to wear a uniform at work? Do I have to wear? Be careful with the question. The question here, just reminding you, is not have I to wear, but do I have to wear? Did you like it? The exercise, I mean. It's a lovely way to help you practice everything. Transformations, in fact, are, let's say, my favorite exercise in English just because they challenge you. They challenge you to think outside the borders of an exact grammar structure. They just tell you, use this word, the grammar structure is up to you, but please put everything in context. Get is one of those words in English which can be used in various contexts, literally. And yes, you are aware of most of them, though probably you haven't considered them as usages of one and the same verb. So let's summarize, let's revise, and let's exercise after that. Examples of situations in which you can paraphrase using get. For example, I received your invitation. When you want to say that you receive something, you can say I got your invitation. Get, got. Another situation. If you decide on going to the shop, would you buy some bread? Buy. Synonym of buy? Get. If you decide on going to the shop, would you get some bread? Quite less formal, of course. It's spoken English. Let's catch the bus. It will take us too long otherwise. Let's catch. Let's get. Let's get the bus. It will take us too long otherwise. So, another synonym, catch. You're writing everything down, right? Good. Then, when are we supposed to arrive in London? Arrive, get. When are we supposed to get to London? Be careful with the prepositions. Arrive in a place, get to a place. The tasks are becoming more difficult. Are becoming or are getting? Same. The tasks are getting more difficult. Are you serious? You were tired yesterday? You were fired. Were fired. So when you use the verb to be as an auxiliary for the formation of passive, in these situations the verb to be can be substituted with get as well. You got fired yesterday? I need to have my hair cut. This one is quite familiar. Have something done, means have something as a professional favor. Somebody else comes and does something for you as a professional favor. This one, synonym, get something done. I need to get my hair cut. And one more, please make her finish the homework on time. Make somebody do something. Please get her finish the homework on time. Get somebody do something. It means force somebody do something. Observe while somebody else is doing something. Please make her finish. Please get her finish. Remember that all of these paraphrases, all of these get structures are typical for the informal spoken English. In formal writing, in formal correspondence, you're supposed to use the alternative of get phrases. And an exercise. PDF attached, you're doing, we are taking and revising. Okay. We'd better hurry up. It's getting dark. It's getting. It's becoming. I've just got my certificate issued just in time. Get something done. Get something done, have something done, as a professional favor. In time, on time? Yeah, there was something. Please revise if you have any doubts about the differences. I can't get used to waking up that early. This is. Get used to, something that was not given in the example sentences, but a structure that you are quite familiar with. Get used to doing something, meaning acquire the habit of doing something. And what about the difference between get used to and be used to? Stop the video and think for a second. Okay, be used to, it refers to the fact that you do already have the habit of doing something. I am used to getting up early. Get used to refers to the fact that you are in the process of acquiring the habit, or it has taken you a long time till you finally acquired that habit. I can't get used to. After get used to and after be used to, the verb is followed by ing. I got shocked when I understood about the accident. Got shocked. Got shocked, the same as I was shocked. The verb to be, passive, substituted by get, informal usage. I'll try to get the grass cut by the end of the week. I'll try to get something done. Try to, second verb form. Try to do, try doing. Revise the difference if you don't remember it. What happened? You've got hurt? Quite informal usage here. You've got hurt? What happened? You ask for a result of something in the past, in the present. I mean, something happened in the past and the result is in the present. Obviously, you need present perfect. But to make it a little bit informal, you just use you've got hurt, you've got. Good. That was it. See you in the next video. If you have any questions, Q&A section. Don't forget that after this level is over, there is a whole additional section with exercises only, and more exercises are to come. If you have difficulties with something precise, I mean, tell me what exactly you find difficult, and I will prepare your extra exercises for that. Okay, see you in the next video. Both of these structures we have passed through in one context or another. Well, now is the time to see how they are connected and what's the difference. Hint, it's about the past. So let's first revise what we know. Used to. Used to you use when you speak about something that was typical in the past and that is not typical anymore. I used to have long hair. I used to wear glasses. When you use used to, you mean that something that was typical for you in the past is not applicable in the present anymore. And it's not necessary even to clarify this one. The usage of the grammar structure is enough. What about would? Take a look at this text. Every summer, my family and I used to spend the holiday together. We would rent the same old house by lake, would take our long walks, would stay till late, looking at the stars and talking, just talking. We used to live happier. So from the context you can catch that there is something common in the terms of past usage. Would does also refer to activities that were typical for you in the past. It's more narrative tense. Let's see the differences. We used to spend the summer in the countryside, meaning in the past we used to do it, we do not do it anymore. When we were children, we would spend the whole summer together. When we were children. So, when you describe an action in the past, it's up to you whether you will use used to or would plus verb. In both cases, you mean that this is an action that was typical for you in the past and not applicable in the present situation anymore. Just one marker here. Look at the colored in blue part in the second sentence. Yes, it's important. When you use would in past context, it's important for you to clarify that the action was to take place in the past, when we were children. Without this clarity, either in the same sentence or in the context, it's not correct to use would. Okay, you need to specify that this thing happened in the past, and after that you use would. By contrast, used to is self-understandable. You just use used to spend and it's clear. A structure again, would plus infinitive. And the other difference is that when we use state verbs, used to live, in this situation we can use only used to. So action, used to or would. Stative verbs or state verbs, only used to. And your turn. PDF attached, doing the exercise, checking it together. When I was younger, every Saturday, I would go on a long bike ride. I would go when I was younger. It said when exactly, so because of that, it's quite plausible for you to use would go. If you are to use I used to go, the first part is redundant. You don't need it. When I was younger, it's clear. My teachers would always say, keep working, you can do it. My teachers would always say, or used to always say. In general, when you speak and when you want to vary your language, well, this is the situation in which you can choose between used to and would. They are interchangeable. It's up to the variety of speech. It's up to the avoidance of repetition. In those situations, you can use them. I used to have a cat called Blackie. No choice here. I used to have. Stative verbs, used to. She used to live in New York before the massive strikes. Then she moved to London. Same story. Used to plus state or plus stative verb. Because of that, would is not applicable. He used to be a very good basketball player. Same. Be can't be used in continuous tenses, which means that it does not describe an action but a state. When a verb describes a state only, it's a state or a stative verb. Well, because of that, you can use only used to. Main difference, again, would. When you use it to describe a past activity, You need to say that the action happened in the past, or it needs to be clear from the context of the sentence. And also you need to be sure that the verb you're using would with is an action verb, an active verb. Used to, by contrast, is used with stative and also with action verbs. Good. You're ready for the next video, yes. Past tenses. But no, this time I'm not going to teach anything. This time it's up to you. So if you have any doubts, if you still have difficulties in choosing between the correct past tense, now is the moment to take a look at the previous lectures, to revise based on the rules that you have written down, hopefully, and after that to keep on playing this video. Your first task, revise. Second task, open the PDF and do the transformations. It's transformations based lecture again, which means there are sentences, instruction paraphrase, using the word given, hint past tenses. Ready? Let's check it then. People were healthier 100 years ago than they are now. Used. You start thinking about the context of the situation. 100 years ago, there was a state that's different now. You need to use used. We speak about the past. Used to is what you need as a structure. Why? Because used to expresses something that was typical for the past and is not typical for you anymore. So, people used to live healthier 100 years ago. Or, people used to be healthier 100 years ago. Used to be, used to live. I didn't wear glasses when I was younger. Now I do. Well, from the context, if you have done all of the exercises so far, it's easy for you to understand that, again, you need the used to structure. Why? Because it shows the contrast between something that used to be and something that is. Why to is given? To make you think a little bit more. So, I didn't used to wear glasses when I was younger. I didn't used to wear glasses. Be careful about the formation of the negative structure. Used to, negative, didn't use to. The same as in past simple, just reminding you. I started working at 6, and I was still working at 5 in the evening when you called. Past, progress, an action that was in progress before another past moment happened. Okay, past perfect continuous. When you called, I had been working for 11 hours. I had been working. Past perfect continuous. Next one. We often went to the mountains when we were children. When we were children, it's specified when. You have would as a transforming word given there, so yes, it should ring a bell. It means that you need to use would, meaning something that was happening in the past and is not happening anymore. So, we would go to the mountains when we were children. Why would is applicable here? 2 reasons. Would plus go, or would for expressing action, first of all, and there is the time marker, when we were children. It's clear that it was typical for you in the past, in a specific past period. I started learning Russian 3 years ago. 4. It's really typical transformation in English from past simple to present perfect or present perfect continuous. So I started learning Russian 3 years ago. 4, marker for perfect tense, and It's your turn. I have been learning Russian for 3 years. Have been learning for present perfect continuous. It hasn't rained for 4 weeks. Opposites transformation from present perfect to past simple. How understood based on the time marker ago. The last time it rained was 4 weeks ago, sorry. The last time it rained was 4 weeks ago. After that, the last time I tried this shirt on was yesterday. Since, marker for present perfect. And you start thinking about the structure. Okay, I haven't tried this shirt since yesterday. The structure that should have come up to your mind is something in present perfect since past simple. Here it is. I, present perfect, since past simple markers. Next sentence. I haven't spoken to him for a couple of months. The last time I spoke to him was a couple of months ago. Again, present perfect, past simple. Ago as time marker. The concert started at 8. I arrived at 8:15. Be careful here about the time frame of the initial sentence. Yes, it's in the past. And because it's in the past, it means that you need to go not for present perfect, but for past perfect. When I arrived, the concert had already started. I hope that was useful for you, and I hope that it helped you revise everything. And it should have also indicated the long way we have been through. You see how many things you do know already. Good. Next video. Before we go for the general modal verbs exercises, there is one more modal verb that we haven't spoken about so far. And you haven't expected it exactly to be in the advanced level. But here it is. Why? Because it has different forms in different tenses with different meaning. So let's look at it. Need. Examples. You needn't wash that cup again. It's clean. I want you to think which modal verb of those that you do already know this usage reminds you of. Again, you needn't wash that cup again. It's clean. Or, you don't need to wash that cup again. It's clean. You needn't wash. You don't need to wash. 2 more examples. You needn't wake up that early. It's Sunday. You don't need to wake up that early. It's Sunday. Yes, don't have to. So, when we speak about the present, and we want to say that something is not necessary to be done, whether it will be done or not is up to you, we have an option. You may say you needn't do this, you may say you don't need to do it, or don't have to do it. The 3 verb forms of modal verbs are identical. So take advantage of the variety of the language, again, and don't use one and the same structures all the time. The difference comes when we speak about something in the past, and here you need to be careful. You need to be careful because you may say something completely wrong if you use not the correct modal verbs form. Let's take a look. You didn't need to buy bread. We do still have some. It's good you changed your mind. You didn't need to buy bread. It was not necessary. It's good you changed your mind, meaning you didn't do it. So when something was not necessary to be done, rule, So when something was not necessary to be done and you didn't do it, you use didn't need to. Another situation. You needn't have bought bread. We do still have some. What are we to do with that much bread now? Did you feel the difference? Yes. So here again, you needn't have bought bread. It was not necessary. But you did it. You needn't have done something is used more as shouldn't have done, which means past criticism. So it was not necessary, but you did it. Needn't have done. It was not necessary and you didn't do it. Didn't need to. Remember the difference and be careful when you speak, because really, here you may change the meaning of the whole sentence just because of the wrong usage of the modal verb. Let's practice. The PDF with the exercises is attached, so please take a look, do the exercises, think carefully, and we are checking it. Good. I needn't have taken any money to the zoo. I had no idea it was free to enter. I needn't have taken. Something was not necessary, but you did it. You needn't have got a taxi. I offered you to give you a lift. It was not necessary, but you did it. Needn't have, third form of the verb. Oh, you needn't have given us that much money at the wedding party. We felt really embarrassed. Needn't have given. It was not necessary, but you did it. How I understand? From the context. And it's important when you speak to consider the grammar in the context that you speak. Nobody will tell you in that case, no, you used the wrong modal verb. No, but people can understand you not in the correct way, which is even worse. That was the last day at school. We didn't need to go to classes. That's why you saw us at the cafe. You see the contrast here. So something was not necessary and you didn't do it. Again, from the context. If you have said, we needn't have gone, it means that it was not necessary, but you did it. Completely different meaning. The car wasn't dirty, I swear. You needn't have washed it. Well, here, out of the first sentence, out of the exclamation mark at the end, I dare judge that it needn't have washed. It's up to you. They didn't need to send emails to each other all the time. They could phone. It was not necessary, and they didn't do it. Again, here some of your answers could be a little bit more different. The idea to be able to explain why, to be sure that this is what is meant. More importantly, to speak correctly. That's the aim of the whole course, in fact. Don't forget that there is an extra session with more exercises, a lot of more, and more are to come. See you in the next video. Another one of your favorite lectures with exercises only, almost. So far we have passed all of the modal verbs, including ought to, don't forget about that, and need. The only thing I haven't mentioned so far are the continuous forms of the modal verbs. But these you can understand based on your experience with the language in general. So let's get started with the exercises, and I'll let you check the structures of the continuous modal verbs by yourselves. Do the exercises in the PDF. We are checking everything together after that and explaining, of course. Let's get started. The first one, rewrite using the correct perfect modal verb. Perfect modal. Okay. It's possible she forgot to feed the cat. She could have forgotten. It's possible. Other options. Could have forgotten 75% of possibility. May have forgotten 50%, might have forgotten, 25%. What mistake you should avoid here? Could has. Yeah, I know that advanced level is not the place to make a mistake with this one, but after all, because I have heard that, could have forgotten. After the modal verb comes have, never has. The second one, buying that short skirt was a mistake. Mistake in the past, perfect model. You need to criticize. I shouldn't have bought that short skirt. Another way, stronger, oughtn't. I oughtn't have bought, or I oughtn't to have bought that short skirt. 3. I'm sure Tom was at home when I called him. I'm sure, certainty. Certainty 100% in the past. 2 options, must have done, can't have done. You need to express certainty that something happened. So the option is must have been in your case. Number 4. You are right, coming on foot was a great idea. It would have been quite faster by the bus. I should have taken the bus. I should have taken. You criticize. Or I ought to have taken. I ought to have taken. I don't believe that was Mark. He's at the other end of the world right now. You say that something is impossible because it's up to the facts. You can't have seen Mark. He's at the other end of the world now. Why perfect model? Because the first sentence refers to the past. I don't believe that was. Okay. After that, must, have to, need. Although you didn't need to pay that money back yesterday, thank you. Pay attention to this example. Didn't need to, not needn't have done. Why not? Well, first, yes, it was not necessary, but you did it. But here you do not criticize. That's the important point. Needn't have done is typically used when you criticize, the same as shouldn't have done, as I told you. So, didn't need to, the correct form here. Dogs must be walked in the park. Look at that sign. Dogs mustn't be walked. Passive. Prohibition. We don't need to do that part of the homework. It's just an extra exercise. We don't need to. It's not necessary. Don't need to. Invitation needn't have been sent that early. I told you. All of them appeared to be wrong. Now what? Invitations needn't have been sent. Something was not necessary, but it was done. You mustn't bring children under 10 in this restaurant. It's a rule. Mustn't bring children. Mustn't bring. Prohibition. You don't need to take a coat. It's warm there. You don't need to. It's not necessary. If you want, do it. The same as you don't have to. The same as you needn't. Uniforms have to be worn every single day. Rule. Have to. Uniforms have to be worn. Be careful because it's passive. One more time. Good. The new part, kind of. I'm just telling you the two structures, and out of the context in the next exercise and out of the situations, and based on your overall experience with the English grammar so far, I think you can cope it on your own. Could be doing, could have been doing, or these are the continuous forms. The simple continuous form, could be doing, of a modal verb, and the perfect continuous form of the modal verb, could have been doing. Think of it in the context of tenses. Everything that you know about continuous tenses is applicable here. When you want to speak about an action that was in progress, when you want to express some progression, in these situations you need the continuous modal verbs. I could be relaxing at home now if I didn't have to work. Probability. But you have to work. Conditional, just this time with could, not with would. And in continuous form, because relaxation, hopefully, is a process that takes time. You shouldn't have been working that late last night. Shouldn't have been working. You're criticizing about something that occupied over a period of time in the past. I can hear her singing. She must be still having a singing class. Deduction based on facts. The action is in progress. So continuous modal with must. They can't be working now. They are on a holiday in Hawaii. They can't be working now. Again, it's a deduction based on facts, 100% possibility. She might be still working on that project. I don't trust her though. She might be still working, so the action could be in progress. I don't trust her though. This is the part of the situation that shows you in this context you need to express the slightest possibility. You need might. You see, once you get aware of the basic structures, I mean basic tenses, basic formation of active and passive, basic formation of continuous verb forms, you see that you can continue expanding your knowledge, your grammar knowledge, even on your own. It was not necessary here to make you an additional lecture in order to explain that there is continuous modal in the present, continuous modal in the past, continuous modal in the past. You're good enough to do it on your own. Keep learning, keep improving. See you in the next lecture. Short and easy lecture coming here. We will speak about alternative ways of expressing speculations. So apart from the modal verbs that you do already know, there are some other structures in English that you can use to improve your vocabulary, to advance in the grammar structure that you're using. Let's take a look. Example, be bound to. You are bound to feel nervous about your interview. It's possible. You may, you might. You are bound to. Be sure to. I want to go somewhere. We are sure not to have bad weather. We are sure not to have. So these are again some modal structures, let's say, which will help you really vary the meaning you provide based on the choice of the exact structure. Be sure to. Be likely to. He's likely to come on time. He's punctual quite often. He's likely. There's a high chance here. He's likely to come on time. Be unlikely to. The case is unlikely to go to court. There's not enough evidence. Be bound to, be sure to, certainty. Be likely or be unlikely, possibility. And exercise. Do it. We are checking it. Now. Okay. Transformations again. You need to be careful about the word given, and after that you need to apply it in context. I don't think he'll come. He has a lot of other tasks. He will probably not come. He has a lot of other tasks. Probably. Probability. I'm not sure he'll ever solve the problem. To keep this structure, in the second sentence we are using just a negative word. And this negative word is to preserve our negative connotation. He may never solve the problem. He may never solve. So I'm not sure he will ever. He may never. 3. They will probably have code by now. They will probably have caught. Ought. They ought to have caught by now. And be careful here. You use the context of the first sentence by perfect, which means that you need to keep the structure in the second sentence. They ought to have caught by now. Number 4. I didn't leave the keys in the flat. I remember locking the door. I can't have left the keys. I remember locking the door. You express certainty here. I'm sure she'll like the wallet. That's her style. She's bound to like the wallet. So, in short, there are a lot of ways you to choose from when you want to express certainty and possibility. Be sure, be bound, be not sure, must be, can't be, maybe, might be likely to, be unlikely to. Somebody is probable to do something. Somebody will probably not do something. Really use the variety of the language, don't get stuck with one phrase, and keep improving your vocabulary all the time. Why? Because it will help you, not only in your day-to-day communication, but in your formal English writing and in your certificate preparation at the end. Next lecture's waiting. Mini-serious time, an important one. In this and the next 2 lectures, we are going to talk about inversions only. Inversion is one of those grammar structures that do signal you are at a really advanced level. This is typically used in certificate exams. This is typically used in formal writing, so you may take advantage of the inversion structure when you speak, when you write, when you try to express yourselves better. Let's get started. Examples. I didn't know almost anything about him. We need to use little and to start the sentence with little. Little did I know about him. What is inversion? There are specific words which, when placed at the beginning of the sentence, require inversion of the verb being done. You see, did I know? It sounds as a question. Well, this is the inversion. The inversion of the subject and the verb. Not I knew, but did I know? Think of it as a question. After the inversion word, you need to make question or inversion. So, I didn't know, past simple. Little inversion, did I know about him? You put the accent on the first part on this way. You just emphasize on what's really important. Little did I know about him. Another one. This is the most exciting story I have ever heard. Never. You start the sentence with never, and it goes on. Never have I heard a more exciting story. I have ever heard, present perfect, and never. Never inversion, think of it as a question. Never have I heard a more exciting story. Memorize these words. Please write them down. They are important. The words that require transformation after that. Next. It's quite rare for you to come on time. Rarely or seldom. Rarely do you come on time. Rarely do you come. Do you notice as part of speech what these words are? Adverbs, exactly. So when you start with an adverb or with an adverbial phrase, in a lot of the cases you need inversion, as here, rarely or seldom. Next. He will never excuse. On no account, advanced structure. On no account, the same as never. On no account, inversion, will he excuse. On no account will he. As soon as the movie started, the phone rang. Hardly. When. Adverbial phrase. Be careful. It's not only the first word, it's the linker after that that matters. So, as soon as the movie started. Hardly had the movie started when the phone rang. Second part of sentence, regular. The transformation is in the first part. Hardly had the movie started when. Another example. As soon as I opened the door, I saw the thief. Scarcely when. Again, word, linker. Transformation after the first word. Scarcely had I opened the door when I saw the thief. Piece of advice. Write down all of the examples along with the old transformation words. At the beginning, it might seem a little bit confusing, but you will see that it's easy and it's useful, and it's cool when you start using it. In fact, you really feel that you have advanced. One more. As soon as the lamp went off, I heard a noise. No sooner than. No sooner had the lamp gone off than I heard a noise. Not when. Be really careful here. No sooner than. No sooner had the lamp gone off than I heard a noise. This does not mean I quit. This does not mean I quit. In no way, and in no way, no, the negative word which requires positive verb after that. In no way, present simple, think of it as a question. Does this mean I quit? In no way, inversion, adverbial phrase. He never asked me for advice. Never. At no time. Same situation. In the first sentence, the negative connotation of the sentence is provided thanks to the adverb never. In the inversion, in the transformation with inversion, you have an adverbial phrase, at no time. No brings the negative connotation here. At no time did he ask me for advice. At no time, inversion. Past simple. You think for it as a question. Did he ask? Enough for now. I really hope that you're writing everything down, because only watching and listening to this one, it doesn't work on this way. In the next video, I have prepared you a second part of this, which means that there are more adverbs and adverbial phrases. There is slight difference there. Let's say that they are a little bit more difficult. You will see what I mean. And after the next video comes the exercise one. See you. Let's go on with the inversion structures. You remember, adverb or adverbial phrase at the beginning of the sentence requires inversion after that. Think of the inversion as a question. You don't change the tense of the original sentence, you change only the structure. More examples. You should call the police only in an emergency. Only. Only in an emergency should you call the police. Pay attention to this. Only when. So only, there is object after that. Only when, then comes the inversion. Only in an emergency should you call. I couldn't call you before I was sure I was alone. Only after. Only after I had checked I was alone could I call you. Pay attention. Only after I had checked. So only after what? Without inversion. And after you finish this first logical part, then comes the inversion. So only after what? Otherwise, the structure will be wrong. What students usually do? Only after had I checked. No, only after what? Then comes the inversion. Next one. I won't be able to make up my mind if you don't calm down. Only when? Again, only when you calm down, inversion after that, will I be able to make up my mind. Only when something will I be able. Inversion in the second part. We will know the result only after the official end of the elections. We will know the result only after, not until. Not until the official end of the elections will we know the result. Not until something, inversion after that. Not until the official end of the elections will we know the result. He didn't wait for me for a minute, Evan. Not. Again, stranger inversion. Not for a minute, not for what? Did he wait for me? Not for a minute. So first you finish the logical part, inversion after that. Did he wait for me? He was late for work. On top of it all, he tried to lie to the boss. He was late. On top of it all, he tried to lie. Not only, but also. And here you're careful. Not only was he late for work, inversion in the first part, but he also tried. So not only inversion, but also normal part of the sentence. You should not leave the door open. On no account. On no account, inversion, should you leave the door open. Cool, right? I like transformations just with inversion exactly. At the beginning I remember that I found them really difficult, as I couldn't catch the logic what should I do and why should I do it. After that, as you understand something, you start improving, you really get better, and then you start enjoying. Well, let's reach that point in which you just start enjoying grammar. Exercise in the next lecture, then we are continuing with something different. It's your turn now. Let's see inversions in practice. Or in other words, open the PDF, do the exercises, and let's check them together. Be careful, think for when the transformation is to take place, when the inversion is to happen. Is it exactly after the adverb or the adverbial phrases, or is it after the second part? Don't change the tense. Think for inversions as questions. And let's check them together. Somebody knocked at the door again as soon as I locked it. As soon as I locked it. Hardly had I locked the door when somebody knocked at it. Hardly had I locked the door. We finally started living together, and soon after that we decided to get married. Finally, we started living together, and soon after that. Remember also that with the transformation, you need to keep following the logic of activities. Which happened after what? Yes, you need to use past perfect where applicable, as in the first sentence, as in the second one. No sooner had we started living together than we decided to get married. No sooner, inversion, past perfect, than normal sentence. I had no idea you wanted to talk to me. Little did I know he wanted to talk to me. Little did I know, inversion. He or you, doesn't matter, wanted to talk to me. Buying a cheap ticket before the flight isn't often possible. Rarely or seldom, inversion, present the verb to be. Rarely is it possible to buy a cheap ticket before the flight. There is no situation in which you will make me leave. Under no circumstances, inversion, under no circumstances will you make me leave. I had just come back home when the light went off. Sequence of tenses. No sooner had I come back home than the light went off. No sooner than. I didn't understand he was serious until yesterday. Not until yesterday did I understand he was serious. Past simple, inversion. This is the most ridiculous excuse I have heard. Present perfect, inversion. Never have I heard such a ridiculous excuse. And the third one, we only understood about his achievements when we read the latest article. Only when, so you need the first part here, regular sentence. Only when we read the latest article, inversion comes here. Did we understand about his achievements? Be careful with only when. It's really one of the most misleading beginnings for a transformation. Good. Do you need more exercises? Give me a hand. See you in the next video. Something I believe we haven't practiced enough so far are the impersonal structures. And as the next lesson of ours will be connected with one more way of expressing impersonally something, I think that here is the perfect place to practice a little bit more. Let's just revise what was meant by an impersonal structure first. People say Anne is in love with Mark. It is said that Anne is in love with Mark. Or Anne is said to be. So these impersonal structures are used when you don't want to specify who did what, when not the doer but the result of the action is important. And there are several things that you need to be careful about. The first thing, you need to be careful about the tense. When the first and the second part of the sentence are in one and the same tense, as it is in the first two examples, the transformation is kind of easy. They think she is pretty. She is thought to be pretty, which means you make the passive of the first part of the sentence, then you use the simple infinitive, to be, or he was believed to be. The problem most of the times come in a situation like the third one. They believed he had committed the crime, and he was believed to have committed, as a transformation. Why? Well, you need the perfect infinitive here in order to show that there is difference in the sequence of tenses. You show that first the crime was committed, after that they believed that something happened. Think of this perfect infinitive as a perfect modal verb, and it will be easy. The third scenario is with the continuous infinitive. It depends again on the initial tense. The company is thought to be planning. Remember that when it comes to impersonal structures, you do not change tenses in no way. You just transform tenses. The original structure is there for you to guide you and to show you what needs to be changed and how it needs to be changed. You're just to follow the pattern. Exercise, it's attached, we are taking it now. The police believe that the wanted man is living in LA. Believe, present simple, is living, present continuous, which means that we need perfect, no, continuous infinitive. It is believed that the wanted man is living. Simple. The wanted man is believed to be living. They believe that the strike will begin tomorrow. Although here there is a difference in tenses, no changes are required from you. It is believed that the strike will begin. The strike is believed to begin. Simple infinitive. They said that he knew influential people. They said he knew. The tenses are the same in the first and in the second part. They said he knew, which means that you need the simple infinitive again. He was said to know. It was said that he knew. More examples. Everyone expected that they had started working on the project. Expected, they had started. There is difference in tenses. Perfect infinitive. They were expected to have started. It was expected that they had started. They believed that all who were present at the conference had listened to the report. It was believed that, and nothing different here. After that, those who were present were believed to have listened. Were believed because they believed, were believed to have listened. Difference in tenses. All of us thought that he had been preparing himself for the exam. Be careful here. All of us thought, past simple, he had been preparing, past perfect continuous, which means he was thought to have been preparing, perfect continuous infinitive. I believe that now you find this easy. Again, it's important to catch the whole English grammar and the whole English logic of the grammar, because otherwise you will be just studying something by heart and you will not be able to apply it. That's not the aim. The aim is to start talking better. Next lesson is waiting for you. Another way of introducing an impersonal structure is by using the verbs seem and appear, with a slight difference in their meaning. Let's look at some examples. She's passed her exam, look at her. This is the situation. And how you can transform it now. It seems that she has passed the exam. Look at her. It seems that. Or, she seems to have passed the exam. Look at her. So it seems that she has passed. She seems to, and have passed after that because there is difference in the tenses. You need the perfect infinitive as well. It appears to me that we need to make some changes as soon as possible. It appears to me that. Another way to introduce an impersonal structure. It appears to me that. It appears as if, or it appears as though I was not right. It appears as if, it appears as though. It would appear that nobody on board the aircraft actually had a license to fly it. It would appear that. Remember that this structure is formal, by contrast to all others. And here is the slight difference in your choice. So whether you will go for seem or appear depends on the final aim you have. Seem. It seemed to be a good choice of style. You speak about facts. You speak about personal feelings or ideas. It seemed to me that. It seemed to be. She seemed to have whatever. The car appears or seems to have already broken down. When you use appear, you speak only about facts or events. So this is what you need to remember. Facts or events appear, and the structures with appear are quite more typical for the formal environment, whereas the structures with seem can be met in informal as well as in spoken environment. Also, if you include would in the expression, you directly change the registry and go to the formal environment as well. It seems that, it appears that, she seems to, she appears to, it appears that something has happened. There are various ways, again, in which you can change the way you sound, the way you contribute to the conversation, the way you present your ideas. Take advantage of it, and don't forget that you can always start speaking with simpler structures if you know the advanced ones. But you can't just upgrade your language if you appear to be in a situation where people speak advanced or formal English. Don't forget about the extra exercises as well. See you in the next video. Time for another mini series this time. Verb patterns. We have spoken about them several times, starting from the A1 level. If you remember, like doing something, hate doing something, dislike doing something. This was your introduction to the idea that in English, two verbs can be connected with ing, or I want to do something. Two verbs can be connected with to. Well, now is the time to talk about some verbs that can be used with an object inside. So there is a structure like verb plus object plus infinitive, verb plus object plus gerund. And of course we are starting once at a time with the first one, verb plus object plus infinitive. And here are the examples. She doesn't want anybody to know about the accident. Anybody, object. Verb, object, to. She advised him not to travel by car. Advise, somebody, to. Would you like me to stay? Would you like me? Would you like? Object, to. And of course there are a lot of other verbs following this pattern. The verbs that are marked in red can be used with and without object. Some of them can be used with ing as well. Some of them can be used with prepositions, which means be careful. So these are the basic verbs, but there are a lot others. Let's do an exercise to see how they are applied in practice, and I advise you not on memorizing them now. You'd better learn how to use them in sentences, meet them in sentences, and just practice. Okay, examples. Anne wants her team to win. I'd like you to come. I would like you to do something. I would hate you to do something. Exercise. The PDF is attached. Let's check it. Tom to Anne. Tom warned Anne to be careful when driving. Warn somebody to do something. Tom invited Anne to go to the cinema. Invite somebody to do something. Anne reminded Tom to take the car keys. Remind somebody to do something. Anne advised Tom to take up a hobby. Advise somebody to do something. The policeman ordered the burglar to stand still. Order somebody to do something. Once you develop your good feeling towards the language, then it's easy for you really to use the verbs without considering what, and why. Because of this, we haven't spoken about that so far, but if you haven't, it's high time for you to start reading books. Read in original, listen to music, watch movies. That will help you improve your grammar as well. Next short video will be about some examples where the pattern verb plus object plus ing is followed. See you there. Next pattern, verb plus object plus ing. Again, you know most of these. You are supposed to be able to use them without even memorizing the rules. But you need to be careful. First is always learning by heart. After that, you'll start using the correct structures on the fly. So first, some examples. I can't imagine you leaving. Verb plus object plus gerund. I don't mind you smoking outside. Verb plus object plus gerund. I dislike him being late. Verb plus object plus gerund. And some basic verbs. Most of them we have already mentioned. You do also remember the difference, I hope, between remember doing, remember to do, stop doing, stop to do. These verbs can also be used with object and gerund after that. The list here is endless because you can't memorize all of the verbs, right? And every verb requires kind of a structure. But once you remember the basics, you'll be able to understand how to use the other words, the other verbs, without even considering grammar. So let's start practicing. The PDF is attached, do the exercises, and we are checking them. Okay. They can't stand him driving his old car. Object, not his, not he, him. Can't stand him driving. I remember you buying that jumper. Remember plus verb plus ing. Remember somebody doing something. Something happened in the past. You have memories. Remember to do, just reminding you. Remember to do, this is a remind to do something in the future. I dislike them telling me what to think. Dislike, object, gerund. Dislike them telling. I can't imagine him working in an office. Can't imagine, object, gerund. Can't imagine him working. Nobody can stop me doing what I want. Stop somebody doing something. I hope that nobody can stop you in your desire to improve your English. So see you in the next lecture. Let's keep on working. Do you remember that during the previous lecture you saw some verbs covered in red? And I've just enumerated several structures that can be used after them without mentioning which structure is used when and what's the difference. Well, now is the time. I told you, you can't memorize all of the verbs, but the basics are important to be remembered. So let's get started with some examples. They are advising that children go to school. It's no use trying to persuade him that she's guilty. Have you warned them that we'll have guests? Another structure. Please let me go. I'll make you finish the task at any cost. They were made to order the room. Help me answer this question, please. So pay attention to these structures. There are verbs in English which require bare infinitive. That's how it's called. Let somebody do something, make somebody do something, help somebody do something. Looking back at the previous example, you will see that there is one a little bit more different sentence. They were made to order the room. Make somebody to do something. The idea is the same as force somebody to do something. Compare these two sentences. I'll make you finish. They were made to order. Yes, to appears only when we use passive structure. Short and easy. A lot of practice after that is needed. See you in the next video. Reporting verbs, reported speech. Two more interconnected lectures coming one after another. Why it's important to speak about reporting verbs in a different lecture? Well, we are in the advanced level. Of course, you can always say he said, she said, but using one and the same reporting verb, you don't provide additional meaning. And words are there to inform. Words are there to give your senses, your feelings. Just use them. Let's look at some patterns. Not all, just thank you in advance. Just some, the basic ones. For example, say that, the one which you're used to. I'm sad a little bit. Mark said that, change the tenses, he was sad a little bit. Said that, or without that, it's up to you. Tell somebody that. I went to the office early. Mark told me that he. Remember this phrase because a lot of people find it difficult to apply the pattern actually. Because first, it seems to be easy. Second, it's not. Okay, tell somebody that, and after that, who. Mark told me that he had gone. Next one. Tell somebody to do or not to do something when we order or when we give advice. She told me not to go out there. She told me to follow her. Tell somebody to or not to do something. Ask somebody if. When there is a question, there is a specific pattern we need to follow when transforming direct to reported speech. And one of the ways to do it is by applying the precise question verb. So she asked me if I knew, asked me if, or asked me when. I asked him when he had come. Of course, I'm not finishing the sentences here because you are supposed already to know the structures in reported speech and to be aware of the way the sentences are transformed. But if you see something wrong, if you see that you have missed something, please come back to the previous level and the one before the previous and revise everything. Then I was explaining everything in details, so it's up to you. Another verb pattern. Ask somebody to or ask somebody not to do something when you request. She asked me to open the window. Asked me to. She requested. Recommend. Recommend is one of the verbs that can be followed by ing or by that. Example. You'd better catch the earlier bus, he said. And the transformation. He recommended us catching the earlier bus. Again, he recommended catching or he recommended us, object here, catching the earlier bus. The second example. He recommended that we should catch. Pay attention to this structure. He recommended that, after that personal pronoun we, and should is there, whether you will write it or not, it's up to you. Just remember that after the personal pronoun comes the infinitive. He recommended that we catch the earlier bus. It's called subjunctive. Another verb that follows the same pattern is suggest. So let's go to the park and She suggested us going to the park, or she suggested going. The other way, she suggested that we should go, or she suggested we go to the park. Warn somebody about something, warn somebody not to do something, or warn somebody against doing something. Example, don't open the door, and the forms applied. She warned me not to open the door. She warned me against opening the door. Be careful. After to, in 99% of the cases, you have the infinitive. But in all the other cases, when the verb is used with a preposition, after the preposition comes the second verb in ing form, the gerund. Because of that, in the second sentence, she warned me against, the verb is in gerund, in ing, opening. The preposition is important here, against. Advise somebody to do or not to do something. You should apply for that position, she advised me. She advised me not to apply for that position, or she advised me to apply for that position. More logically here. Encourage somebody to do something. Keep on working. You can achieve great results. And you want to report it. My teacher encouraged somebody to do something, encouraged me to keep on working. A lot of examples more can be given here. Keep in mind that I haven't mentioned numerous other forms. Here are just some of them. But remember, the basics are important. From there on, out of your listening skills, out of your reading, out of everything that you do in the language, you get used to using the correct structures. But remember the basic, memorize them, learn them by heart. Enough with this exercise. Check the PDF. We are doing the exercises now. Okay. Use the correct verb structure. The verbs are given in brackets. You need to paraphrase. Mark advised me against going out that late. Advise somebody against doing something. And decided to go to Italy. Decide to do something. Anne recommended him studying harder, or recommended that he should study harder. He warned me about the ladder being not stable, or he warned me against using the ladder. Tom encouraged Anne to apply for the internship. Encourage somebody to do something. One more. My mom agreed on letting me go, agree on doing something, or agreed that I go. The teacher explained that the test would be on Monday. Explain that. Anne suggested us going, or suggested that we go, or suggested that we should go. She warned the students not to cross the street, or she warned the students against crossing the street. Anne insisted on making the tea. Insist on doing something. Keep on practicing. This one requires a lot of exercises. If you need additional help here, give me a hint in the Q&A section and I will prepare extra exercises. Next lecture, see you there. I believe that when it comes to grammar, practice is always welcome. Well, because of that, reported speech again, this time with reporting verbs. PDF attached, you do it, we check it. Now. I believe in you. Just try one more time, he said. He encouraged him to try one more time. encourage somebody to do something. Be careful about the tenses. She admitted that the mess had happened because of her. Admitted that. She complimented me on wearing a lovely dress. Compliment somebody on doing something. He congratulated him on the result at the final test. Congratulate somebody on something. These, saying it again, are typical transformations for certificate levels. So if you plan doing it, or if you plan upgrading your English further, keep on working and really master impersonal structures, reported speech, passives. They are vital. He demanded to let him in. This one is interesting. Let me in now. He demanded to let him in. Another. She suggested not going out that night. She suggested not going out. He denied being involved. Be careful here, it's passive, yes. He denied being involved. What about the same sentence with perfect passive gerund? He denied having been involved. That's it. She refused to do it. Refused to do something. He offered to help me. Offer to do something. Offered to help me. She begged him to tell her. Beg somebody to do something. Told or asked. She asked me if I had arrived at 6. He asked me what I was going to do after the workday that day. Asked me what I was going. Tenses. If you have problem with the sequence of tenses, previous lectures. She asked me if I wanted to change my job. Asked me if I wanted. She asked me if she should help him the other day. Change of words. She asked me where she had been wrong. Where she had been wrong. She asked me to let her finish the task by herself. Let somebody do something. Practice really makes perfect. And if these exercises are already easy for you, we've done it. You've really improved your grammar skills. Just reminding you where we started from. Yeah? Okay, next lecture. The other verb structure, grammar structure, that is worth mentioning in the advanced level are the conditional sentences. Yes, I know that we have already done a lot of exercises, but again, practice makes perfect. And keeping in mind that the next lecture is connected with something additional, now is the time to revise what simple and mixed conditionals are. So first, second, third, and zero type you are aware of. General truth, 0. You speak about the present, something real to happen, first conditional. You speak about the present, hypothetical situation, second conditional. You speak about the past, the whole situation is in the past, third conditional. From there on comes the interesting part, the mixed conditionals. 2 types. Difference, which one happened when. When you have a past condition with present result and a hypothetical situation in general, you use the following structure. If, past perfect, would plus the verb, or a combination between the first part of third conditional and the second part of second conditional. When the situation goes like a hypothetical one, but you mean a present condition and a past result, both of them hypothetical, In this case, we use the reversed structure, which means the first part of second conditional and the second part of third conditional. I know that now it sounds really theoretical, but the detailed explanations and the exercises in the previous level. What is our idea now is to practice everything, to be sure that we don't have any problems with conditional sentences. Do them, the exercises I mean, in the attached PDF, and let's check. Okay. In the first exercise, you needed to correct the sentences. If you didn't call me last night didn't call, it should deliberately and immediately ring a bell that there is something wrong here. I don't know if I would cope with that problem. Okay, mixed conditional, but the first part obviously refers to the past, which means that you need hadn't called, past perfect, or the first part of third conditional. Second one, you wouldn't be promoted if they didn't believe in you. You wouldn't have been promoted if they didn't believe in you. You need again mixed conditional, this time saying that they believe in you in general. Because of that, in the past, they promoted you, which means that the first part needs to be the one from third conditional. Would, have, third form of the verb, passive, to make it even more interesting. Number 3. I wouldn't have met Mark if I didn't continue with my studies. There is no indicator here that the sentence is connected in one way or another with the present, which means that, yes, it's a pure third conditional. So it's not I didn't continue, it's I hadn't continued. Past perfect structure. 4. Have I wanted to meet you again, I should have been working hard enough. Although we haven't been introduced to this structure exactly, I think that you can do it. Just play with the tense. It can't be present perfect. You need past perfect here. And the last one, if I hadn't met you, I wouldn't have been that happy now. There's reference to the present, there's reference to the past. In other words, you need mixed conditional. It's not a third type. Wouldn't be, not wouldn't have been. I'm deliberately not explaining everything in details in terms of tenses. All the information you need in the previous lessons. Second exercise. I wanted to continue. I applied for the position again. Third conditional. If I hadn't wanted, I wouldn't have applied. Number 2. I passed the test. I'm having a license now. Something successfully done in the past, result in the present. Mixed conditional. If I hadn't passed the test, I wouldn't be having, because of the continuous form in the original sentence, I wouldn't be having a license now. My father called me. We arranged to meet. If Dad hadn't called, we wouldn't have arranged to meet. Third conditional. I haven't been to Germany before. I'm so excited that we are flying tomorrow. Mixed conditional. If I had been to Germany before, I wouldn't be that exciting now. Reference, bridge between past and present. She married at 18. She has 3 children already and she's just turned 25. Mixed. There's reference between present and past. If she hadn't got married at 18, she wouldn't be having 3 children now. Good. How was that? I hope you find it easy. You need extra exercises? You do know already. Give me a hint in the Q&A section. Tell me where exactly you do still have difficulties, and I will prepare you extra exercises. See you. Apart from the conditional sentences that we have just revised, we also know the wish sentences as conditional structures, and there are some more. So let's pay attention to the wish sentences first, to revise them fast, and to take the other conditional structures after that. Okay. I wish I had longer hair. Wish about the present. When you wish something about the present, you use past simple. I wish I had known about the party last week. When you wish something about the past, yes, you use past perfect. When you wish something that does not depend on you, you use would when it refers to the future. I wish it would stop raining. The other thing that you need to remember is that I wish is the same as if only, which means if only I had longer hair. I wish, same story. If only I had known about the party last week. I wish, same story. If only it would stop raining. Remember, I wish, if only, completely identical as meaning. Some other alternatives of if. For example, as long as you behave yourself, we won't have any problems. If you behave yourself. As long as or so long as. Provided that or providing that. Providing that you come on time, we'll do it. Providing that. Again, these are alternatives that are usually tested in advanced tests, just to keep it in mind. On condition that. I'll call you on condition that I come back on time. On condition that, if. First conditional, in fact. Supposing or suppose. Supposing you got fired, what would you do? Supposing you got. Second conditional, the same as if, but an advanced way to say it. Inversion. This is what we had 2 lectures before. I told you that still you are not introduced to the structure, but you are capable of solving the problem. Yes. Had I known the truth, I would have never trusted him. Had I known the truth, the same as if I had known the truth. Had I known. Inversion. An alternative of if. Even if. Even if I had gone to that interview, they wouldn't have hired me. Even if. Let's see all of these in context again. Remember, in this level, we are passing through structures and through additional information that, of course, you can speak quite well without. But the idea is for you to get better, for you to get advanced users of the language, which means to be able to cope with advanced grammar structures. So do the exercise. What you need to do in order to cope with it, transformations. You have the word given, you need to transform the initial sentence. Okay. In the first one, inversion we need. Had I known about the party, I would have gone. The same as if I had gone. Had I known, I would have gone. If you ask me, he'll succeed. An alternative phrase again. As long as you ask me, he will succeed. A conditional structure. As long as. Even if. An alternative of if. Even if he'd decided to come by car, he wouldn't have come on time. Even if he'd decided. After that, what would you do if you won the lottery? Providing that you won the lottery, what would you do? Providing that. And last but not least, only. I wish I had got up early. Only. If only I had got up early or earlier. You remember, I wish, the same as if only. All of the phrases that we've mentioned in this video, please write them down. Please think for sentences of your own. Please try to find them in different contexts. That's the only way in order you to memorize them. Next video, see you there. Do you remember that there was time when we spoke about the verbs of senses and how the meaning you provide via your choice of structure changes up to whether you go for see do or see doing? That was your example. I saw you cross the street, verb plus infinitive. I saw you crossing the street. With meaning, when you say I saw you cross, you mean that you observed the whole action. When you say I saw you crossing, you mean that you saw the action partially, just part of the action. Verb plus gerund. Exercises. What I want, in fact, is just to practice a little bit more this one, because I think that, again, we didn't pay enough attention, or at least I'm not sure that you remember everything from here. So, the exercises are yours. They are in the attached PDF. I saw them kissing, part of the action. Gerund. They watched the man hitting, part of the action. Gerund. I saw them hug, the whole action. Bare infinitive. They watched the man hit, the whole action. Bare infinitive. I saw Anne walking. Whole action? No. Part of the action? Gerund. Good. Second exercise. You need to correct the mistakes. Be careful, it's not set what type of the mistakes are. Just correct them. So, Mark crossed the street quickly. How? Quickly. Adverb. Even from a distance, Mark's pace looked quick. Difference here. When you want to describe how something looks, how something smells, how something feels, then you use the adjectives, not the adverbs. The verbs of senses go with adjectives. This was the extra thing that we needed to mention here. 3. The cake smelled delicious, not deliciously, verb of senses. This dress feels so good, adjective, not adverb, verb of senses. I listened carefully to his talk. Here you describe the manner. Here you don't refer to the verb of senses only. It's the manner, it's the attitude. The same in the last sentence. I looked surreptitiously at his hand. Manner, attitude. Be careful with these and keep in mind the difference. See, do, see, doing. There's always what else to learn, so keep improving. And one more time, you need extra practice? Give me a hint. Next lecture. In this video, I want to give you a clue what to keep on working on after the course finishes. Because regardless of the fact that it covers everything and it will continue being expanded, the real work of yours starts after this one. It's the same as studying English in a course. The real usage and the real studying starts after the textbook or starts after the course. So, linking advanced usage, or in other words, how to express your thoughts in a more advanced way. Talking of. Talking of is used to change the direction of the conversation. Example. I've met Peter recently. Up to now, you've been talking about something different. And now, mentioning Peter. Talking of him, do you know he's become a father? By the way, or incidentally, this is used to introduce something that has just come to your mind. Again, you've been talking about something has just come to your mind and you're changing the direction. I've never been to Paris. By the way, I've solved the problem from this morning. By the way, it's just a completely different topic. Actually, or in fact, this is used to introduce surprising or extra information. I don't like spinach. Actually, I've never tried preparing one. Anyway, or in any case. Anyway, or any case is used to emphasize on what you're saying as something more important. We didn't buy tickets for the concert. Anyway, they cancelled it. Doesn't matter. At least is used to introduce positive information after a negative statement. Example, we saw a horrible crash near here. At least no one was killed. On the whole. On the whole is used to generalize. It says generally speaking, or in general, on the whole, there are more men occupied in the IT industry. Fact. On the whole. All in all. All in all is used to emphasize that you're considering all options. I don't mind living in a flat, but all in all, I'm for the house. All in all. After all, I believe she'll understand me. After all, we've been friends for ages. You are emphasizing a stronger argument. After all, besides, she'll be a great fit to the team. She speaks 4 languages. Besides, it's been her dream to work for you. Besides is used to introduce additional, extra information. Besides. Basically, I need fluent English in order to have any chance to be promoted. And it's also true. Used to introduce the most important point. Basically. Otherwise, please try to do your best. Otherwise, you have to study in the summer as well. Otherwise is used to introduce a hypothetical clause. Otherwise. Okay, these were just some of the examples. Of course, there are more. But for the beginning, they are more than enough. It's up to you to practice them, to master them, because as words, I'm sure that you know them. As structures, there's nothing difficult here. As meaning, they're easy as well. But it's a habit. It's a habit of using. It's a habit of formulating your thoughts in a more advanced way. If at the very beginning I used to tell you that it was the time when you need to talk as a child, just to say something and just to formulate it correctly, well, now is the time for you to start talking as an adult, which means to use complex sentences, to use linking words, and to express your thoughts in a logical sequence. Logically, it's important. Something else I need to tell you next lecture. In this lecture, we will speak about this, how to omit some parts of the sentences while speaking or writing. I'm sure that you're used to doing this, in fact, without thinking. But in order everything to be said, I think it's better just to formulate it as an additional lesson, just to have it as examples written, I hope. So let's get started. Here are some sentences. He got up and washed his face. He can be omitted after end. He was late, but he didn't apologize. One and the same subject again, in the first and in the second part of the sentence. Because of that, the second one can be omitted. We should call or we should email them. Repetitive part, can be omitted. We usually have breakfast together, then we go to work. We usually have breakfast together, repetitive part, then go to work. In short, when there is a repetitive object, it can be omitted in the second part of the sentence. But they locked the door before they left. I'll call you after I come back from work. She's here because she didn't know where else to go. She came when she did her homework. You see that there are some linkers after which such structure is not applicable. So you need to be careful. Yes, at this level, you do already have the gut feeling for the language developed. But after all, memorize the linkers from the previous slide, memorize these, and be careful in what situation what can be omitted. Another structure that can be missed is that referring to one and the same activity. Here are some examples. Mark has never visited the USA, but Anne has obviously visited the USA. Anne believes it's her fault, but it isn't. You must call your mom. I already have. I didn't enjoy the party, but he did. So here, as you noticed, first of all, you need to be careful about the tense. Second of all, you need to be careful about the logic of the sentence. Please always beware of logic. Sentences need to be logical. I've never been abroad, but I'd love to. I'd love to what? I'd love to go. Something else. I'll send you the draft today. At least, I hope so. So substitutes the repetition that is avoided on this way. So, it would be quite calmer at work next week, or at least, I suppose, so. Again. Do you think it may rain at the weekend? I hope not. Enough. Clear, logically speaking. Would Mark be at the party? I'm afraid not. So these short phrases help you really expand the way you are expressing yourself, just thanks to the fact that you avoid repetition, which is very important when somebody is listening to what you are saying. Let's practice them. The PDF is attached, and we are checking the exercises now. In the first one, you needed to finish the sentences. I'd like to help you tonight, but I can't. I've never ridden a horse, but I would love to. I don't speak German, but he does. You never listen to me. Well, this time you should have. Criticism. They didn't come, even after they promised they would. Promise in the future, in the past. Okay? So future action that didn't take place in the past. And one more exercise. You need to finish the sentences again. Rain is expected at the weekend. Here, context is important only. Rain is expected at the weekend. I hope not. We are going at the seaside. Do you smoke? I used to. I stopped a month ago. Be careful with the structure here. Are you planning to leave the country again? I hope not. I love it here. You don't believe it was me, do you? If you say so. You see, using these short words, you just don't need to repeat the whole sentence. You don't need to think for other paraphrases. That's enough. One more lecture. Okay? I'll be looking forward to seeing you there again. Believe it or not, we've reached the very last lecture of the course. Well, it was a long way, in fact. In this last lecture, I want to help you focus on one more structure that is over there for you. It's called cleft sentence, and in simple words, it's an extra way for you to add emphasis on one part of the sentence or on another. So let's pass the structures, let's do the exercise, and I'll tell several words after that. What? We need to use what? I need a cup of strong coffee. And you start with what? What I need is a cup of strong coffee. It's easy. Just I'm saying it here in order you to know how to make your way of speaking various, how to expand your vocabulary, how to vary the grammar structures in order to be on an advanced level. Next one. I want to travel around the world. All I want is to travel around the world. They've forgotten the password. What happened is that they've forgotten the password. What happened is that I spoke to the CEO, the person who I spoke to is the CEO of the company. The person I spoke to. You put the emphasis on the first part of the sentence. He came back late at night. It was late at night when he came back. Options: a lot, practice, required. Let's check the exercises, and it's your task to keep on practicing from now on. Paraphrases. I need a hot bath, that's all. All I need is a hot bath. He failed the exam because he didn't study hard enough. The reason why he failed the exam was that he didn't study hard enough. Hardly? You do still make the difference, right? Good. Happened. What happened is that there was a traffic jam. It was their fault, but they didn't apologize. I got mad. What made me mad was that they didn't apologize. I first met Anne in Italy. The first time I met Anne was in Italy. That was it. And what you need to remember, there are different ways in English grammar that you can take advantage of in order to express yourself. You may give that slight nuance that will help you express thanks to grammar structures. Thank you very much for being part of this course. I really do hope that it was useful for you. I believe that we've done a lot of work together. I'm sure that if you have followed all of the instructions, if you have done all of the exercises that are and were provided, you have improved immensely. I'm looking forward to seeing you in one of my other classes. Good luck and see you again.